Everyone, this week's travel video is going to be associated with hotel reviews. And I basically want to just say this. Take a hotel review, especially from sites online, with a grain of salt. And here's what I mean by that. I actually went out just a few minutes ago and I pulled up a resort that I've stayed at and I had a great experience with. Staff was great. I got what I paid for. Came back and actually wrote a travel review on it myself on my blog a long time ago. This is almost 2 years ago. And just pulled it up to see what kind of responses. And I noticed that the majority of the reviews for that hotel are great. So I pulled up the 20% that were negative just to see what they had to say. And I saw everything from people being upset that they had to pay to park, and that was the big bolded part in their negative headline of that for their review. And then there's somebody who said they didn't get what they paid for when it came to their breakfast vouchers and things like that. Now, I had breakfast vouchers that I paid for our trip as well, and it was very clearly stated on the voucher what you get for the voucher, what's included, etc. And everything's right there in black and white. So I know for a fact now that I've got two different reviews. One, they just didn't understand what they're paying for, and that's their own fault basically for not reading and understanding. And I've touched on that before in previous blogs. And the other person who didn't know that you might have to pay for parking and acted like that was a huge negative apparently doesn't travel very much, because if you travel to any major city nowadays that has covered parking for that hotel, you are going to pay for parking. There are some exceptions to that rule, but if you've traveled at all, you understand paying for parking in cities at hotels is not an uncommon thing, and I would not make that the number one reason why I'm going to hate this particular hotel. So just to understand, take reviews with a grain of salt. If you see the majority of the reviews are positive and some are negative, understand there's always those negative people. It does not matter what you do for them, they will never be happy. They go on vacation with some sort of chip in their shoulder. They're going to find something to be upset at, because that's how their life goes anyway. They're always looking for somebody to be mad at and blame. And those are the types of people, unfortunately, who like to go out and write reviews too. So if you see 80% positive, 20% negative, probably it's okay to go ahead and book that hotel. If you see the opposite, naturally you probably would rethink that particular hotel. And most travel agents that I know, and myself included, know of the places that we've stayed and know of the hotel chains that have good reputations, to know we can usually recommend those without any sort of major issue. There's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be the one room in a hotel that didn't get cleaned right, or maybe the hotel's doing renovation and you unfortunately were in a part of the hotel that's not renovated yet, but the other 80% are in the renovated side and they're loving every minute of their stay. So just read through the reviews, pick out the things you know that are probably specific to that traveler's own experience and not a representation as a whole of that particular hotel, and then just go from there. And don't let a review, especially if they're the small percentage, sway you from staying somewhere that maybe you had your heart set on. And I know people, they'll go out and they'll book something, or they'll think about booking a hotel and they'll call me. I'll tell them that it's gotten great reviews. They'll go out and read one of those two negative ones and then come back and start to waver whether that was a good choice and whether they want to change or not. And so that's what we're here for, but that's also just understand that in the world of the internet, you're going to see a lot of people writing a lot of things on blogs and travel reviews that may or may not be legitimate. So just maybe do your research, trust your travel professional to a certain degree as well, and then just go on your trip and see what happens. If something negative happens, bring it to the management's attention, see what they do to resolve it, and if they don't resolve it, make notes and come back, and maybe you'll be the next person that writes a negative review about it. But sometimes you never know until you're actually there for yourself to experience it. And if you've traveled enough, you will have positive and negative experiences. But I just found it interesting that I just, for my own curiosity, pulled up one that I had a great experience at, and then to read those who were hating it and say never ever stay there, I know those are not legitimate from the standpoint of being a representation of that entire resort. So anyway, I hope this helps. And again, take reviews with a grain of salt. Hope you're having a great day.